is glory in the highest, glory in each lowly one, glory in the morning, glory in the setting sun, glory in the morning.
Our guest today is someone by the name of Zsa Zsa, and the last name is not Gabor. She is sharing with us a subject that is not very well known by many of us. Hello, I'm Brett Carlson. Welcome to Brethren Voices. When the phrase spiritual direction is mentioned, the mind instantly searches for an answer. And if you come up with the correct answer, you are probably in the minority. Today we have with us Zsa Zsa Janine Christopher. Zsa Zsa, welcome to Brethren Voices.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here with you.
Very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Zsa Zsa, you have been described as a person who completed a 3-year training program in spiritual direction with the Sisters of St. Joseph, Orange County, California. I'm presuming that few of us know about spiritual direction, but how did you choose that major in theology?
When I was attending LMU, I had entered LMU as a business major. And my husband Daniel said, "Why are you taking these classes? You don't even enjoy these business classes." That comment gave me the freedom to play around a bit at LMU, take different courses. I took an art course, a communication course, an education course, just whatever I wanted to do. And I stumbled into a spirituality course. And that just felt right. It felt like coming home. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then it was a few years after I graduated when one of the sisters at LMU came to me and said that I would be a really good candidate for the spiritual direction program with the Sisters of St. Joseph in Orange County. It's a process that you have to go through. You have to interview with the people who run the program.
So it's a totally separate
Yes.
study and organization. One is the university and then the other is a specialized thing.
Correct. And it was, they actually prefer you to be a little bit older when you enter the program because you've had a little more life experience and you've had a little more time to start looking into your relationship with God, going a little bit deeper. So it was a wonderful experience. But when she was explaining to me what the program was, I just looked at her and said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I have never even heard of spiritual direction or a spiritual director. I don't know what they do, but okay, on your recommendation, I will go and look at this school because I love spirituality. I love reading spirituality books, and this sounds like it would be right up my alley." So in many ways, I was like some of your listeners who have never even heard of spiritual direction.
I'm so amazed. So your studies of theology took you to this totally unknown direction, and you got your feet into that, and you actually followed through.
Yeah.
A totally additional 3 years of study?
Yes, 3 years of study, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I loved it.
So the definition, according to some, of spiritual direction is a practice of companionship and guidance in which one person helps another to pay attention to God's presence in their life. So it's not counseling or therapy, it's something totally different. Could you describe it in your own words? Is the definition close, or how would you describe what you do?
Okay, well, first I would like to say that if you asked several spiritual directors what is spiritual direction, you're going to get some variation on what it is. There's no one right answer. There's no one right way to answer that, but the answers would be similar. And for me, what I would say it is two people who are committed to growing their relationship with God. They're companions together, and we're journeying to seek a deeper meaning in life and connection with God. And during spiritual direction, what we're looking for is, where is God present in their life? That's what we're looking for.
I really, really think talking about God and a relationship with God is maybe one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. But it's not something that we do in an organized way, I think. So you bring some organization and some process and structure to that search for meaning in life that we all kind of dance around, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we have to be at the right stage, though, for that. When we're younger, it's about us, it's about having fun, it's about new relationships. You have to be at a place where you've lived a little bit and you feel God, inviting you into a deeper relationship. God is calling you, and you need to be ready to respond.
One of the parts of the definition had to do with be open to God's presence in your life. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about, because when you're preoccupied with so many other things, there's probably not too much time or room to think about those things.
Right. And you mentioned the difference between counseling or therapy and pastoral therapy or pastoral counseling. The difference, those two subjects, therapy and pastoral therapy or pastoral counseling, they deal with the growth of the person. And spiritual direction is dealing more with a deeper dimension. We're ready to go deeper into our relationship with God. Whereas the other, counseling deals with the psychological tools. Pastoral counseling will do the same thing, but they will add in religious tools to that mix. But spiritual direction, again, is dealing with the deeper issues.
Is your work always changing with the person that you're in a relationship of direction with?
Well, each person comes with, I'm going to say, our own baggage throughout life, right? A lot of our injuries happen when we are younger, and we take that throughout our life with us. And it shows up in different ways in different places in our life. So someone would come to me, and they might have control issues because their father was controlling. And so they are now controlling, and I'll be presenting issues like, well, have you talked to God about this situation? What does God say? I'm always trying to turn the conversation back to God. So each person is going to be unique with their own set of issues. But how I respond is I'm always going to be trying to, whatever the issue may be, bring them back to where did you see God in your life in this last month? Or can you speak more to the issue that you're having, so that we can help them understand who they are? Because once we can understand who we are and what our issues are, we can give it to God, find some healing, and move on so that we can grow in that deeper relationship. So in the beginning, there could be some issues that, even throughout the time, I've been working with people for years, and sometimes these issues pop up, even in my own life, things pop up again and again, and you realize, oh, that's you again. Okay, please God, help me heal from this. Help me give this to you so I can be my best self and face the world with my best self so that I can help other people as well.
How long have you been doing this? You talked about COVID and changing the way the coursework was done with the sisters.
Yeah. I've been a spiritual director. We start our training, and then after I graduated, I just continued on. So about 4 years now, 4.5, something like that.
What were you like before this? Because you really do give a presence of thoughtfulness and spirituality. What was it like before?
That is the Holy Spirit, brother. Not like this. Like I said, I was a business major, and for me, at that time, it was all about making money. It was not about spirituality. In fact, when I had a course in religion, I asked, how much money could I make if I did this? I was such a different person because it was about how can I provide for myself? How can I make it in this world, in this fast-paced world? And my background is in marketing. And so just that whole business world was, all right, I can make a lot of money. I'm gonna focus my attention doing that, getting that degree so I can make more money so that I don't have to worry about money. And then my father died. And I realized a lot of what was behind what I was doing was to prove a point to my father. So we talk about that baggage, right? We all have it. So I had to really take a look at that. And then when my husband said, "What are you doing? Why are you taking these courses?" Again, another pivotal moment. Well, I guess that's right. I don't really have to prove anything anymore, and I don't like these classes. Why don't I do something I like? And then I'll tell you the big shift that really happened for me. We moved to Ohio, and I had what St. John of the Cross calls the dark night of the soul. And that's where I just felt like God had left. I was not myself. There was a big part of me missing. I didn't feel right, and it was a very scary time. I hadn't had any spirituality classes. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew, okay, I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm going to pray. I'm going to go to Bible study. I'm just going to sing my hymns and, continue to try and connect with God, even though I didn't feel His presence. So a year went by. We moved back to LA, and I felt God's presence again. But I was changed. I was really profoundly changed. I felt I really wanted a deeper relationship with God. And so I started searching for more Bible studies, and now I started reading spirituality books, and which led me into LMU, finishing my degree, and finding that spirituality class. And then from there, stumbling on to spiritual direction. So it was sort of a long time in coming, but pivotal moments along the way.
I want to go back because you just opened a door that I think is fascinating. Okay. How in the world did you train? What did you do for those 3 years in training to be a spiritual director?
Okay, so what the program entails is a lot of classes, a lot of reading, writing book reports, writing module reflection papers on the different speakers who come in and speak to you. And then at the end of 3 years, you have a research paper that you have to do. So a lot of great classes, and I can speak to some of those if you'd like. But
well, first of all, did you have to go through spiritual direction as part of your training in those 3 years?
Spiritual directors are in spiritual direction.
Okay.
Because it's a lot to hold on to, listening to people, and sometimes there's a lot of trauma, and we need to be able to process that as well. But also, when we are working with a directee, it's I am actively listening to their story, but I have one ear listening for the Holy Spirit to guide me. And there could be something said in that session that triggers me in a good way or a bad way, or there could be something that I hear a question that I need to ask this question. So I ask this question, and all of a sudden that opens the floodgate to something. And I think, wow, where did that come from? But also, I might hear something, and as I'm saying it to the directee, which is the person who has showed up for a spiritual direction, I might be hearing myself say this and realize, I think that question was for me. And my job as the spiritual director is to set that question aside, so after the session is done, I can sit with God and talk about that. And then when I go to direction, to my own direction, I can say, hey, this came up when I was working with the directee, and we can talk about it.
So you, at this point, have a mentor or a spiritual director yourself.
I do.
Who you're in communication with. And
Yes.
a lot of us recognize we have voices in our head. Sometimes it's nonsense, sometimes it's things that are distracting, sometimes it's voices of wisdom and pearls, and sometimes it's really not helpful, judgmental voices. And sometimes it's the Holy Spirit, or could be the Holy Spirit. How do you sort those things out, or how do you learn to do what you were just talking about? How do you learn to sort those different voices out?
Well, for me, I'm a Christian, so I would be listening to the voice that sounds most like Jesus. Okay, it might be different for somebody else, somebody who might be listening to the voice that sounds like Buddha. But I think there's some truth in all religions, and I think that if it seems counter to what is good, what is healthy, it's not the right voice you should be listening to. If in Ignatian spirituality, we talk about consolation and desolation. If it feels like desolation, I don't think that's the right voice you should be listening to. And of course, the Quaker way is you can go and talk to elders. Hey, I heard this. Does this sound right to you? And, the elders can confirm, no, or yes, that sounds, we affirm that.
I'm very interested in how to discern the difference of the voices inside. And one of the struggles I had is I have a lot of parental messages that are very judgmental from my childhood. And when I was hearing those kind of things as I'm growing up and an adult, I was trying to decide what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to pay attention to those things or not? And someone in a spiritual direction mode, whether they were a director or not, said, if it's judgmental and critical, it's probably not coming from God. And that's been very helpful to me.
Yeah.
And it's aligned with kind of what you're saying. Is it the voice of Jesus?
Right. So the number one question, the first question I ask somebody who's coming for spiritual direction is, what is your God like? Okay, for me, my God is a loving God. But is your God a loving God? Is your God a judgmental God? Is your God a punishing God? Because that needs to be dealt with. Because God is love. So where did you get those images from? And that goes back to childhood, right? So that has to be dealt with either in counseling, some sort of therapy. But God is love. So as you're saying, if your God is judgmental and punishing, that's not God. So whatever the answers that you're being told, if they sound judgmental and punishing, that's not God.
I agree with you, but I also realize that a lot of people do have those punishing, critical visions of God. So how often do you run into someone who says, my God's not loving, what are you talking about? That's not the way I see it, or that's not my experience. Are you able to persuade most people that God is love?
They have to be willing to look at it.
Okay.
They have to be at a place that they're willing to look at it. I will ask, where do you think that comes from? Is there anybody else in your life who acts the way you are acting in this situation? Or whose voice are you hearing right now? There's some questions that you can ask people, and they might say, oh my gosh, that's my father's voice I'm hearing, or that's my mother's voice, and then you start realizing, see, that is not the voice of God. So that can help.
You're very good. You're very good.
Thank you.
One of the times I was in spiritual direction, I wanted to learn how to pray better or more deeply. And I was very helpful. Is that one of the things that people bring to you? How to pray, or how to be more purposeful in their prayers?
Sometimes I hear people say, well, I pray, but I don't feel the presence of God. And one of the classes that I took talked about praying, and that sometimes you can sit and pray, but you're not going to hear the Holy Spirit. It's more for preparing you to go out in life. So, as we spoke about, you're armed with more peace, more love, more grace in the world. But also, in this class I took, I remember them talking about the audible. Like in football, you're listening for the audible. That's the quarterback. He's going to give the call right in the last minute. He's going to give the call.
Make a change.
Right. So we sit in silence, and God gives us the peace and love and grace to go out and share in the world. But we have our antennas up, listening for the Holy Spirit's audible. So if something comes up, and you're listening, oh, okay, how do I respond here? You know, if we haven't sat in silence, we might just quickly fire off a response that's coming from our ego. But if we sat in silence and we have our antennas up, we might be able to just say, I'm not going to respond to that. I'm going to let that go.
Do you help people with those kind of things, how to get out of their own way and to listen to God?
I think that if something comes up, I might point out that, what do you think's going on there? Why do you think that bothered you? Why does that matter to you? You know, to pull up what's behind all of that. And I just always remember ego edging God out. So
Edging God
edging God out. So, do we want that? No, we don't want that. So, it's best to you know, again, I'm always going to take you right back there.
That's good.
To center yourself. It's almost like recharge my batteries, God, so that I can face the world. There's a lot going on out there. I really need to have, you know, my superpower is being equipped with God's peace and grace and love, so that I can face whatever's going to come in my way. Because, yeah, it's really easy to get our feathers ruffled, you know, somebody stepping on our toes or going over our turf. And, you know, but is that really, in the big game of life, is that what's really important? It's important that we learn to love one another, treat each other kindly, you know, deal with people with compassion. These are all the things that we can grow in, but that takes, you know, the willingness to slow ourselves down, be present, spend the time in silence with God, allowing Him to make some changes for us so that we are better human beings in the world.
There's someone who described marks of a call, and one of the marks of a call to serve God is that you get this inkling, this intuition, and you can't get rid of it. It's still calling you. It's pulling you. And it really sounds to me like there was some kind of divine arrangement with your father's death that pulled you in this direction and wouldn't let you go. And said, you know, Zsa Zsa, this is important. Follow this. Do this. And I suspect you're a much happier person.
Absolutely, 100%. They talk about the golden thread, you know, this thread. I have always envisioned a rope tied around my waist, tethered to God. And I pray, Lord, you know, if I am going out too far, you reel me back in. Don't let me go too far off the path, you know. And I really like, I like that image of a rope, a tether, being tied to God.
It's interesting you say that, because there's other people that said we are built and we're created with that connection, but we don't pay attention to it. And we want to do our thing. And that's the ego, of course. We want to do our thing. We want to, hey, this is what I want to do, this one. But we're created for a purpose. And that purpose has to do with serving God in some unique way that's true for different for all of us. But we have to listen to that, and we have to feel that, We have to slow down, all of which are things that you've been talking about. Zsa Zsa, thank you for being with us on Brethren Voices. It's so nice to have you take a complicated topic and kind of make it simple for people to understand, and that we could all become more aware of our spiritual connection and the spiritual active listening parts of our lives. So,
Well, I'm very grateful to be here, and I hope that something I said was helpful to your listeners.
I really think it will be. For Brethren Voices, this is Brent Carlson.
And Zsa Zsa Janine Christopher, wishing you peace. Pass it on.
Glory, three in one. Glory in the highest. Glory in each lowly one. Glory in the morning. Glory in the setting sun. Glory in the morning. Glory in the setting sun. The earth and all its fullness and all its daughters and sons belong to the glory and the glory still to come. Glory in the highest, glory in each lowly one. Glory in the morning, glory in the setting